Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Insurmountable Part 6. Here we are with another mission. Probably one of the last side missions we're going to do here on Mountain 1. We may do more, we may do less, we'll have to see. And I think we're going to try out the journalist this time. We're going to try this one here, a compact mountain with an extremely steep rise. We're going to need to be careful. A large area of the mountain is located in the death zone, so we need to think about things which help with our energy, and also which help with our oxygen costs. It's normal weather, however, the nighttime is colder than usual, so we are going to have to be a little bit careful in terms of the body temperature. We are going to go with the journalist because it gives us a little bit of event proficiency, so that is useful. And yeah, we're gonna, I don't know if we're gonna struggle, but we're gonna probably keep our fur gloves on just to keep the temperature moving. I think that's, it's a fairly basic setup. I'm hoping we can find something energy based at some point. We don't have much capacity space is my only problem, but I'd like to take some oxygen with me. Potentially. I could get rid of the food, but that energy boost has become very useful, and I don't think we can really get rid of the tent. So if I was to lose something, that would be the oxygen. But what would I take instead? 10 energy cost on all terrain, some climbing gloves, but we already have gloves, that's the problem. If I could get an energy, maybe a climbing axe would be nice. 10 energy cost on climbing. We're going to be doing a lot of climbing. I could do that, and that gives me just enough for the climbing axe. I think we'll do that, and we'll hope that we pick up something glove related. But we're going to go with the journalist. Just make sure we know what we're doing with the journalist. So whenever she levels up, she gets some, or whenever they level up, they get some additional stats. Some additional energy, body temperature, oxygen, sanity and health, always useful. And they also have a better energy cost on all terrain. And also when we reach a point of interest, gain 8 energy. So we actually want to be going towards points of interest, although we tend to go for those anyway. So that's okay. We're going to start the mission. Let's see how we do on what's arguably going to be a tough mountain to get to the top of. There's a new task awaiting for you, a new challenge to master. You head out yet again into the unknown. Right, let's see if we can work out what we need to do here. That's the mountain there. I think all we have to do is reach the summit. It's extremely top-heavy, steep mountainside. We're going to have to be aware of that. We spawned right by some caves. It's probably not that useful for us immediately. There's a lot of caves down here, in fact, but I'm afraid there's not going to be enough caves higher up. There's a lot of rocks here. I wonder if we might be safer going around up this route here. I don't know. Let's start making some progress, shall we? We'll go there. We'll stop by the cave, not only because I think it'll be good to do, but I think that also gets us some energy back as well. And there's a vast cave. Several passages lead deep into the mountain. You listen, you can hear metallic clanging coming from the passages, as if someone is banging a hammer against a pipe. We will follow the noise. We can keep going at the loss of our sanity. We will do that. I'm hoping we'll find something. Oh boy. Keeping one hand on the wall, you make your way forward carefully. The clanging sound muffled and regular, as if it was coming from a broken machine of some sort. You walk further and further into the cave system. Suddenly, the noise stops. You wait to remember nothing, just endless darkness and bitter cold. What were you thinking? Frustrated, you turn around and stumble back up the passageway. After a while, you stop still. Have you lost your way? The cold seeps into your bones. You keep going. Suddenly, your knee hits something hard. Feeling around with your hands, you pick out a metal chest and open it. You quickly add the contents to your pack, and limping, you continue to search for the cave entrance. It feels like an eternity, but you finally spy some light. You made it out. Okay, an injured leg, but only for 16 hours. It's not a loss to health. I'll happily take the canned food, though. That's some additional... That's why it's still good to search the cave, even if I'm not going to stay there. That's a really dangerous way to get to that item. Is there not a safer way we can explore that? Let's do that. It's a bit slower, but I'd like to pick up quite a few items lower down in our trip here, because as soon as we get into the higher elevation, we just have to focus on reaching the summit. Look, so it's a very steep climb up to the top there. A smooth sparkling stone catches your eye. Let us examine the ice crystals. We've got some energy back. That's okay, it's not perfect, but it also gives us some experience, so we can't be too upset about that, really. Let's see if we can turn the camera somewhat. Actually, we're going to stop here because we'll probably end up going up here first. It's the next event nearby. We found a closed container. Ah, this is the one where we need to break it open with a rock and cost energy. We will do so. We're going to keep trying. And we found some valuable equipment. We find a pair of climbing gloves. Excellent, that's what I wanted. Minus energy on all minus 10 energy cost on all terrain. Excellent, that's really worth getting. And we do take it slow. I'm going to take it slow because that's active till the end of the mission, whereas the other ones are kind of more temporary usage. And then I think we're going to start thinking about a climb. We found a shrine. We can regain warmth or we can regain energy. We don't need either of them. That's unfortunate, but we'll just keep heading on. We'll leave that cave there. I don't think we really need to go on it for the time being. Let's do that and then work from there. We're just going to leave the cave. So there's nothing in there that we can see of particular interest. So we'll start the climb slowly but steadily. We're in no rush. I'm not going to go all the way back around just that one item. This cave up there, that might be a good place to spend the night. Just wondering if there's anywhere better to head off to in the meantime before we get to that cave, and I don't think there is particularly. But especially as especially in night time, it's going to be pretty cold. We could detour down that way, see what this item is, and I think we'll do that because then we're making best use of the daytime and it's not too freezing cold. We have one tent, but we don't want to use it too badly. Or too early on. We lose 30 temperature due to powdered snow. That's fine, we should regain it when we sleep. I hope anyway. Hopefully this item was worth the trip. A stranger sitting motionless on a rock. His naked torso is adorned with a number of tattoos, strange patterns and symbols. Likely these are mostly worn by spiritual leaders of the local indigenous people. It is bitterly cold and you wonder whether the stranger is frozen to death. We'll talk to the stranger. The stranger opens his eyes and gives you a stern look. Looks like he's alive. I ask if he needs help. I continue my journey. I'm going to give him some food because I feel like he might come back and help me at some later stage. The stranger reaches behind his back and pulls out a canteen, which he offers to you. The pleasant fragrance of herbs is tantalizing. You raise the flask to your lips and take a sip. He may well yet return. We shall see. We'll see if we get saved by a mysterious naked man later in the excursion, or expedition, I should say. Okay, we've made this cave pretty much bang on night time, so that's wonderful. I will follow the wind though, just see what we can find. Ooh, we nearly got pierced by a torso, thank goodness we didn't. However, you see something ahead that makes your blood run cold. A short distance ahead of you is a corpse, riddled with stalactites, that poor soul. If only he'd had your luck. Feeling more than a little queasy, you rummage through the fur pouch he was carrying. You find valuable equipment and hastily take it into your pack, then turn to leave. This place is just too dangerous. Hiking staff. I don't think that's going to be that useful because it's to do with flat terrain. We will take it, but we will absolutely bin it should we need to. And we will sleep for a long time, and we will... I probably should have chosen to level up first. We might have got some good benefits, but that's okay. Body temperature, I'm going to need to watch heavily this time because that did not level as much as I would have thought. Added to the end of the mission, whenever you use a consumable item, gain 4 body temperature. It's nice. It's not that useful, but I'll take it just for the bonus warmth. I think the warmth is going to be the real issue in this. Warmth is going to be the real issue in this one, more than anything else. I slightly regret not bringing my gloves now, but still, it might be a... We'll have to manage. This is a rather dangerous area. That's going to use a lot of energy as well. You discover a bird's nest that is extremely unusual at this altitude. You find some herbs in the nest. That helps us with sanity. it does give us some body temperature, which we could use in an emergency, but it does also take us down a little bit of health as well. But we might be able to use it in some other capacity later on. Goodness me, that's a long trip round there. I see, there's not really a direct route round. Can we find a shrine? What can the shrine give us? Sanity or warmth? Absolutely, we'll be taking the warmth of the sanity, because we're going to need it. And we're about to enter the death zone here. Are we still heading in roughly the right direction? Yes, we are. Goodness me, that's a big mountain. The air is getting thin, your breath is heavy. You've entered the death zone. You pause for a moment to prepare for the difficult path towards the summit. 24 hours of +1 oxygen per hour. 35 energy % cost an auto-aim for 8 hours. We could... I'm going to say take it slow. We'll keep our oxygen moving in a positive manner, I would say. I think the best thing we can do is just start pushing to the mountain as soon as possible. Obviously, it's a little too far away for us to get to immediately. Is there a quick way down? I don't really feel like I want to go backwards. I think I want to keep on moving forward, so we'll do that. Obviously the ice isn't perfect, but there's quite a few events down here, so I'm keen to kind of head this way somewhat. See, we'll head down towards these events. I know it's not directly towards the mountain, but hopefully there'll be things that can help us. I've got to watch my energy, I've got to watch my body temperature. My oxygen should be okay for the time being. But that could all easily change. Let's go around the slightly longer way, but arguably the much safer route, with only one potential bad event. That's got to be the best way forward, I would think. Thankfully, no major issues there. Anyone home? You catch a scent on the wind, burning wood. You follow your nose, and behind some rocky peaks you discover a patched, dingy-looking tent. Next to the tent, the glowing embers of a campfire emit a thin plume of smoke. We will call out, we can search the tent. I'm not going to search the tent if there's burning wood. I'll call out to see if the person's nearby. No. But we do get some sanity, we do get some experience points. It's still worth doing. And I believe we get a little bit of energy every time we make it there as well. And we'll head to the shrine here, because the shrines can often provide a big boost in energy. Or something similar. An old... I don't think we've had this one before. An old woman sits in front of a crooked hut. She wears a friendly, toothless smile and wishes you to sit with her to recharge your strength. We don't need health or warmth, but it's experience... Oh, it's not experience. But I think we get some extra energy anyway. There's a cave there. There's also an item up here, but that feels a little bit precarious to do. For an item that may not even be worth it. Instead... I'll do this in... Oh, I think I'll go downwards instead and then probably pop back to the cave. As I really want to save the tents for the kind of higher... For the much more difficult parts of the trip. I'm going to go the long way around there. It's a big loss in time, but it means we're safe. As you gaze around, you notice a faint light in the distance. It floats back and forth, up and down. Ooh, this might be dangerous to do at night time. You see a meandering mountaineer. He seems tense and appears to have lost his way. You're unsure whether you should offer to help him. We're going to try. The stranger is uncertain, staring hard at you. He takes a quick few steps back and then disappears without a word behind some rocky peaks. Oh dear, that's not good. Do we go back up to the cave to sleep? I think we do. I think we do, despite the cost of time, energy, and warmth. We'll be able to hopefully get most of that back. I would hope anyway. We can hear mechanic canning. I don't particularly want to bang my knee again, so I'm just going to lie down and sleep. I need to preserve what I can going forward. I really need to try and make best use of the day and not have any issues during the night. That really is important, I think. We need to start making good progress now towards the summit, which is not too far away, but it's an extremely steep summit. So if we can see a few things along the way that will help us, that would be useful. We found a dead deer. You stumbled over the corpse of a deer with no signs of decay. The animal died only recently. The remains of chewed herbs cling to its snout. Its last meal, probably still undigested. You cut open the animal's stomach to get the herbs. We'll do that. It's only a little bit of lost insanity. And I'll happily get 2 herbs. Not that we particularly have an issue with sanity at the moment. But it's nice to have, and certainly the level up is nice to have as well. Oh, that's really useful. Stay warm 1, 0.5 body temperature per hour when moving. I will happily take that. It might just help us with those last body temperature issues. Now, which way do we want to try approach from? All those look terrible. And there's a lot of rocky outcrops. There's not going to be many ways we can go. That's not very safe, and I don't think it's worth the trouble of going that way. I don't think I want to go that way, actually. Okay, well, we have to head this way, so let's start heading this way. There's only so many certain ways round. I don't think we'll spend the time in the cave. I don't think it's worth it, particularly. But I might be wrong. Do we want to go back for this item behind us? If we could find a safer route there, then that would be okay. It's just a lot of dangerous tiles to cross. I don't think that's particularly worth it. Find a slower but safer route up towards there. We're probably going to skip by the cave, I would say. Now, what can we do here? We can go up to here relatively safely, so we'll do that. And then, do we go left or do we go right? Left seems the slower but safer option. And we might be able to get to that item up there. We'll probably have to spend the night in a tent, as I don't see any immediate caves nearby that we can get to. But we'll head up to that item and then we can spend the night up there. Maybe once we get over the crest of this hill, we might be able to spot a cave. We have now re-entered the death zone, so we do need to be careful. We found a control centre. A low building catches your attention. It is well integrated into the landscape, so you almost didn't notice it. Its architecture is modern and simple. The mysterious occupiers leave it behind. As you approach the entrance, you hear a snarl coming from inside. We can go inside. We can look around but stay outside. Let's look around. We've got some more herbs. That's not very useful. We have a great deal of herbs, so I'm not going to say no to the experience points. We will spend the night sleeping here. It will be the first use of our tent. Let's hope it's not going to be a bad one. We're going to actually lose body temperature doing so during the night. We do not have any tea to work with. I probably should have bought some. There's a shrine over there, but that's a really tough route to get to. I want to avoid any major kind of tough events if I can. There's a couple of events over here I could try get to. So we'll start heading that way and not necessarily make it the whole way, because there's a really weird route we have to take. It's a very rocky outcrop. We need to go before we lose all our temperature. I think we can't afford to go backwards on ideas. So I'm going to stop here. The top is not far away. It's really not far away at all. We could just make a quick dash for it. Or we could go over here. That's a long way to go back down. I'm just slightly aware of our body temperature going down and down. But I think we'll try that, at least, and see if that's the best way, because this may not necessarily be the end of the mission. We'll have to see. Just because we made it to the summit doesn't mean that's the end. What goes up must come down at some point. Can we make it up there? No, we can't, so we're going to have to sleep here. But I'd like to keep going as much as I can up until the point where we have to stop. just so we can make best use of the day as possible. It's not perfect. We're going to have to sleep now to get our energy back. We will regain some body temperature though, which is good. Although our oxygen will go lower and lower. We can now make it to the very top. Let's push there, because even if it's not the end, it might give us a bonus event or something similar. We'll have to see. There's a cave there should we need it on the way back. Let's hope that this is a fairly simple side mission. You breathe in deeply as you look down from the summit. These mountains are really something else. You wonder how you'll find the strength to withstand this madness, but your doubts soon give way to certainty. Deep down, you know that every single climb gives as much as it takes. Every step provides experience, makes you better, and it's time to keep going and reach your goal. As I expected, it was not the end. But we did get a bunch of stuff back, which is quite useful. That's our exit point. I'd say that's about 3 days travel away. We cannot make it to that cave, which is really unfortunate. But what we can do is eat some of our food, and that would allow us to keep it a little bit longer. I'd like to save my tent, but going this way feels silly because it goes backwards. I feel like we always want to be pushing towards our objective. So I'm just going to head that way. I need to stop before we get to the red zone, obviously. The problem is with the steep climb is that it uses a lot of energy. So we're going to stop here. We'll use our canned food. It will also give us a bit of heat, but that's not really why we're doing it. And that gives us closer to at least some items, which may not be a cave, but it might give us what we need. I'd like to keep pushing during to the day. I'd like to find a cave and save my tent for emergencies. I may not have that option, to be honest. There's quite a few events around here, and we do get energy for events. So I'm somewhat hopeful that we'll get something good. A grass splits the ground in front of you, blocking your way. You risk a glance downwards and notice an old backpack hanging from a ledge. We can't afford to spend the energy doing that, unfortunately. I'd love to, but it's just not feasible. We'll do this. Hopefully we don't have any major issues here. Good. We just about survive. Goodness me. Hopefully this event proves a little bit better. We do get a little bit of energy back, if nothing else. You're standing at the entrance to a glacial cave. The light that finds its way through the thick ice makes the walls glow a deep, invigorating blue. Level up. Please give me something useful. Whenever you use consume vital gain 6 body temperature. I'm going to take stay warm. Ooh, or do we take under the stars? 3.5 body temperature per hour when resting in events. We only have one use of our tent left. Whereas this is 1.1 body temperature when moving. We're likely to be sleeping the same amount. I'm actually going to take under the stars because we're going to be sleeping under the open, I think, pretty soon, and that is mildly worrisome. There's a cave down there we could go to. We found a limestone cave. It's a shame you can't sleep in these caves. You're into an expensive cave. Countless stalactites hang from its ceiling, some which are longer than your arm. Water droplets trickle gently from the tips of the stalactites onto the rocks and into the pools below. The soothing, tinkling sound they make as they land leaves you feeling calm and relaxed. The rock formations must be thousands of years old, dating back to before the first traces of people on this island. Makes you happy to think that something could endure for so long. You two are here to achieve something that will outlast you. Perhaps people will talk about you for generations to come. And we got an achievement. Fact or fiction. Find 10 natural anomalies. Something down there. We might just be able to make it if we're lucky. We're kind of coasting on goodwill from our events here. But I'm aware we're crossing some difficult terrain. If we cross difficult terrain, we could be in some real issues. I really want to push to that cave if I can and save my tent. Because we're going to have to be moving during the night, which I'm really not fond of. But I don't particularly see another option. We find a closed container. We're not going to break it open with a rock. And we're in a storm, which is increased energy costs. That cave is actually a lot more troublesome than I had first anticipated. It's a long route round to get there, which means... Oh, what do we do here? Because now we're in the middle. It's just turned daytime, but it's also stormy. It's not ideal in the slightest. Let's try to get down from this mountain for a start. Okay, we're going to have to sleep here. We don't have an option. Sleep for as long as possible. Get as much energy back as we can. And then we're going to have to gun for it. If we end up sleeping outside, we're just going to have to. That's our last use of our tent. That's why I took the skill to do with sleeping outside, because I was just concerned that we were going to have an issue. You march up a hill where the wind has left wavy patterns in the snow cover. Endless uniform. Hypnotised, you take one step after the other. Suddenly you slip and fall and land on your behind. You slide down the slip at breakneck speed, your arms swaying wildly. Finally you come to a stop, your heart pounding against your ribs. That was close. A bit of oxygen loss, a bit of energy loss, also a bit of sanity loss. Not the worst that could have happened, in all honesty. Still such a ridiculous way to get out of that cave, but I guess we came from the wrong angle. Okay, we're back into nightfall. Actually, that event probably burnt some... Oh no, we slept, that's why. I was like, did that event burn that much time? But no. I don't actually know where I'm going now. I can't see a single thing. If I were to camp out overnight, that would be a big loss in oxygen, sanity and body temperature. We'll take one sleep in these conditions. It gets our energy back and hopefully we can push. We do have our oxygen bottle should our oxygen hit low. We're still in the storm. Am I still heading the right way? Where's my beacon gone? Problem is we can't see where we're going. Let's just move to here. Oh, I see our beacon. Okay, we need to head up this way. This is definitely a tough mission with the rocky outcrop. With the weather the way it is. Definitely a tough one. We're doing okay though. If we could get out of the death zone, that might also be quite useful. But I do have an oxygen bottle and I'm tempted to use it fairly soon. I'm just intrigued to see what this event here will provide us, if anything. As you step through a rock arch, a giant of a man in a tall anorak standing blocks your way. He points to your backpack with a scowl. He's going to mug you. As if he's read your mind, the stranger starts to rummage around in his backpack. You're relieved, he only wants to trade. The towering man indicates he would like to have an oxygen bottle. You should take one of his possessions in return. I can take canned food, a tent, something else. I don't know what this something else is. Looks like a piece of toilet roll. Oh, it's a bandage used for health. Well, I don't want to trade. My concern is I need the oxygen bottle. I'm going to take the tent and hope that doesn't bite me. We're low on oxygen. If needs be, though, we can always descend at a very quick rate to non-death zone territory. There's a very quick way to get down there, should the need arise. I think we can't stop prevents. Oh, that's such a precarious route. Let's go to here. That's probably a bit of a safer route. If we go here, that doesn't give us too much additional problems, but might give us something useful. We're not too far away now. I probably should have taken the oxygen bottle. We'll have to see. You find a backpack concealed under a thin layer of snow. Bootprints lead away from the spot in a zigzag pattern and disappear behind a rock. I can't afford to search for people when we're struggling. We will, however, search the backpack. We lose some sanity. It's not ideal. But needs must when you're on the mountain. That tent might save us should we have any issues. If we go down here, we should actually get out of the death zone fairly soon. Oxygen is getting low, however. But we're not that far to our destination. Not at all. If we can survive one more day with oxygen, we should be okay. We'll just stop here. We will sleep through as much as we can of the night. That's going to knack our oxygen even more. But hopefully that'll give us enough to get to the very end. How much oxygen do we have left? 14.5. I cannot see where on earth we're going. But we cannot afford to sleep. We could afford to sleep again with a 10, but we can't afford to sleep again with our oxygen. We are not far. We could spend a little bit of time down there, but we'd have to... The problem is we'd have to still keep moving out of the death zone. I think the best thing we can do is just move to the exit, hopefully the exit here, because it's not far away. But we will have to stay in the death zone to do so. Do we move up here? We're going to move up here in an effort to hopefully get some oxygen or something similar. We find another glacial cave that gives us some sanity back, and we get some level up. Increased oxygen per hour. Excellent, thank you. That should hopefully get us to where we need to go. Definitely a little bit of a close call here with our oxygen. We'll have to see if this is the end of the mission or we still have another point to get to yet. But first, our path leads us across a narrow ridge with snow and ice deposits on the edges. Beyond the edges, the mountain falls steeply away. One wrong step and you'll plummet to the depths should you risk it. Ooh. I'm going to turn around and take a detour. I really hope that this is the end, otherwise we're going to be in severe trouble. We found a lot of limestone and glacial caves this time. I don't mind though, it's some experience. And probably some more... Yes, some more sanity. Wonderful. Let's go to the end beacon here. Do we have further to go? You reach your goal, your body feels weak, but your heart is jumping for joy. You know that the mountain is a merciless foe, but this time round, you've defeated it. Ooh, that was close there with our oxygen. And we are beamed back to the central station. But there we go, mission reward. 5 level ups, 1 items used, 3 equipment, 5 unused consumables. Mostly our herbs. I found we haven't really needed them that much. We get a good amount of hours climbed at night, and then in the death zone. I didn't really want to climb at night, but we didn't have much of a choice at some points. But we also get a character reward, which is useful, because we did this with the journalist. Excellent. And we get some additional upgrade points here for the scientist, the journalist, the adventure. We get some more terrain knowledge, some more event knowledge. Wonderful. And now, ready to take on the next big mission. Finally, you're back. I've been waiting for you. You've learned a lot out there. I think the time has come to take the next step. The stone reacts to electromagnetic radiation. During the experiments that were conducted here, it must have overheated, imploded. That must have caused the anomalies and triggered the time loop. Essentially, all we can do is repeat the experiment. Obviously, there's a catch. All the technical devices we need are dead now, totally unusable, but there is another way. Did you notice the antenna on the next peak? Not only is it the radiation stronger over there, the antenna also intensifies it. If we subject the stone to enough radiation, it might overheat again and reverse the time loop. I mean, I admit it's just a theory, but right now it's our only hope. You hesitate. What happens if you refuse? After all, scaling a mountain isn't exactly a walk in the park. On the other hand, you really want to find out more about the mysterious antenna-like structure. Why was it built? What was its purpose? The stranger smiles at you, as though she's read your mind. Feel free to rest, or keep preparing. I know this task seems daunting, but you can do it. I'm sure of it. Okay, we've got some upgrade points. The journalist. I have 200 to spend with you. Sanity for me doesn't seem to be that much of a problem. I'd like to work on energy and heat and oxygen. I think those are the 3 most important ones. Investigative journalism would not be a bad one to take for you, just to get some more experience in general. So, Mr. Scientist. Whenever you wake up, gain 10 energy. Effective velocity in herbs increases. Eagle Eye. Oh, these are active skills, I see. Mad Genius sounds fun, but probably not the best idea. feels to me like the scientist is one for just keep on pushing to the very edge. I'm just going to increase the base stats. The scientist, and I'll increase the base energy of the adventurer. Just having maximum energy is going to be really, really useful. Team upgrades. We've got 20 terrain knowledge. Do we know what the next major mountain is? It's normal, it's cold. Increased time cost of moving, and we can choose a route. Oh, I see. Very eerie surroundings, so 1 sanity per hour when minus 1 sanity per hour when moving. Very rough terrain or very thin air. I don't really like any of those, to be honest. Honestly, probably the sanity. Or the rough terrain, because time doesn't matter that much to me, but energy does. I suppose time does actually matter because we only have so much space for tents. Probably the oxygen I think we'll take then. But we'll come back to that one. So we need to think about increased time cost, thin air, cold nights. We could do another couple of side quests here. Might not be a bad idea to do. Let's go back to the team upgrades. Let's go for... Let's go for some rock and some ice, I think. Just to increase our energy efficiency on them. And we also have some in event knowledge. Energy, time, sanity or experience. I'll put one more into energy loss because that's useful, and I'll also buff our experience gain slightly. I think that's the best thing we can do there. So next time we take on the big mountain there, but something tells me this is gonna be it's gonna be a tough one. We may actually need to end up taking another couple of side missions. We'll see. But yeah, I quite enjoy playing this journalist. It feels like the adventure is like a base all-rounder, and the scientist is really like a push yourself to your limits, but you can really push fast. We might use the scientist for the next major mission. We'll have to see. For the time being, though, we'll stop there. Thank you so much for watching. More of Insurmountable to come soon, indeed. Take care. Bye-bye.